Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, A Wandering Dork with me, Daniel. It's Season 1, Episode 6, and today we've got ourselves back in playoff contention, and we'll be hoping to stay there after a game against Slough, a side that we managed in the head coach in FM19 that really were quite good to us in last year's game, and it's going to be a clash for the playoffs now. We're just 7 points separating the sides, but we've been in pretty good form. We've managed to make some really good improvements to the squad as well, and hopefully we've got a good youth intake just round the corner. There's one left midfielder they've told us to look out for. Those that have been following the series will of course be familiar with some of that from earlier in the year, but if you're not yet up to date, then please do click back on the eye above to catch up with the series. I really do appreciate your support with it, and if you're enjoying the story, then please put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content. We've got 5 episodes a week from this one and 2 a week from our Luton Town beta save, and then we'll be starting our second long-term story and a number of short-term challenges. But for us, we've got a lot to get through today, so let's go and crack on and look at our recent results. We really have been doing well, and there's some new names in there too, so I'm hoping as we go through the episode, you'll be able to pick some of them out. So you were with me last time for those 2 brilliant draws at the start of the year. Yes, they were 0-0s and they weren't particularly exciting, but we did really well against top 7 sides away from home, and that's led us into a run of brilliant form. So we followed it up with another 2 draws. Firstly, 1-1 at home to Wealdstone. It was Buchanan who gave us the lead, but unfortunately we were pegged back, but another point on the board, and that made it 4 unbeaten. Then at home to Bath, a side that wiped the floor of us in the first half of the year, we managed to nick an 8 draw in this one. Jake Gallagher scored a cracker to get us back on level terms the first time, and then Luke Rawson with his first goal since joining, he managed to earn us a point off the bench. Then a 3-1 win away to Eastbourne, Buchanan with a brace and Tom Whelan with another goal from midfield. That gave us a comfortable victory. And then a 2-0 win away to bottom side Tonbridge Angels. It was Matthew Briggs and Jason Pryor with a goal. Pryor ending a long goal drought there. Then at home to Hampton and Richmond, Jake Gallagher again scoring the winner with a screamer. This time after Tom Richards gave us an early lead. We were pegged back, but we scored a winner within a minute, and that's all we could have hoped for from that game. A couple of debutants off the bench in that one as well, so we'll go and meet them in a bit more detail in a moment. But away to Hungerford, we continued our good form. A goal from each striker wrapping up a 2-0 victory. Then a disappointing 1-1 draw at home to Chippenham, a side that were in the relegation zone at the time. Tom Richards with an early goal, but we were pegged back quite quickly, and we were unable to find a winner in the rest of the match. Then in the last game at Dartford, a comfortable 3-1 win, aided by a Jason Pryor hat-trick. He's still the top scorer in the league, I think, and he's had a remarkable campaign for us. In fact, he's joined top now with 2 others, all 3 of them on 25 goals, and apologies for the slightly rustic voice in this one, it is just slowly starting to disintegrate. But let's go and have a quick look at the transfer screen to see some of the players that have come in. We really have been quite busy both ways actually. So the backup goalkeeper Huck left after the last episode, that one had been pre-agreed for ages, and we've got 3 more signings that have joined the club since, 2 of whom are very much contributors to the first team. Joshua Platt was the first one. He's a young goalkeeper on £100 a week, a very similar ability to Huck at the moment, with a far greater potential moving forward, and to get him for a third of the price each week, absolutely fantastic signing for us. Another one that could become homegrown at the club, so we've got to try and help him reach his potential. We then got Fabio Lopez on loan from Oxford, another young striker, but he can play on the wing too, and he can also drop into that number 10 role, which gives us some options to adapt our tactic. But he's made 4 appearances so far and done pretty well, but he's a 4-star ability striker, and we can't ask for much more at this level. So he'll join Jason Pryor up front today, just as Buchanan started to drop off the mark, and he's a really good player with 5-star potential, and maybe we'll be able to keep him for next year. And then finally Stuart Lewis on a free, a player I've been chasing for quite a few months now. He finally agreed to join on non-contract terms, and he's going to be really crucial for us in the chase for the playoffs. 3.5-star ability, 3.5 potential. He's played for Wickham definitely, I remember that from the past. Dagenham and Redbridge and Gillingham as well. Stevenage and Barnet prior to that. He's got so much experience in lower league football. He can play both of our midfield roles really well, and he's up there with the likes of Gallagher and Whelan, so having 3 players that can rotate in those positions should enable us to be a bit stronger stronger, particularly when we've got 2 or 3 games a week. So I'm really looking forward to having him in the side, and I think he's going to be such a crucial player for us, and he has played well in a couple of games already, so we have got to be fair to him in that regard. In terms of dynamics, everything's looking very good. The team cohesion continues to improve, and the dressing room atmosphere is always good now, and the managerial support is excellent. The players are firmly believing in what we're doing, and that's reflected in the boardroom as well. They're even starting to rate our tactics a bit now. That's moved up to D, and our managerial performance is an A-, so we couldn't be doing a great deal more, and in fact our tactics are even up to a C now. We've made some tweaks and we're playing a little bit shorter in terms of passing, and it really has worked well in dominating games. It's kept our fitness higher and got the board on side. We just couldn't be doing a great deal more at the moment. So in terms of a long-term series, this is something we're looking forward to. Seeing the board pleased with the way we're playing is something that we desperately need to keep on top of, particularly because there has been talk of a takeover, and it's something that's been a little bit weird really. There's just been loads of little bits in the inbox saying that there's a takeover pending, but then there's the directors coming out and saying that there's no talk of it at all, and they don't quite know why it's being discussed. So Jeremy Payne here says he feels he'll never leave the club, but we keep getting those little notices to say that he will, so it's a really strange contradicting bit of information. Maybe it's just a few media rumours. So again, I'll apologise for my voice as we get into the live commentary, but hopefully it won't take away from the entertainment. We've got a really big game against Slough Town, a side that we managed in FM19 of course. In the head coach, they were the start of our success after early failures in that series last year. I know I did say it was between this and the Haven't game. Unfortunately Haven't dropped into the bottom half, so just making sure I don't get my comments mixed up. Apologies to Carl, I know you wanted to see that game, but a couple of others wanted to see the Slough and Hemel Hempstead ones. Unfortunately, you're going to be lucky in the next 2. Not so lucky with the voice I'm producing for it, but hopefully we'll be able to have a good one. We've found our scoring boots again, so hopefully we won't have 2 more 0-0s. And of course we're still crossing our fingers for a youth intake before the next game, so we will skip through and try and find that afterwards, but of course it may be a little bit later. In terms of our lineup today, as you've seen, there are a few areas where we've got competition now. So at centre half it's either Harris or Ellis most of the time. Lewis is competing with the other 2 in central midfield, and we've got Lopez who can come in up front, so even Buchanan's going to be on the bench today. I'm just seeing if we've got any backup defenders, because Ellis isn't particularly fit at the moment, so Langan's going to be named in the substitutes, which isn't really my ideal option. We've still not managed to find a left back. Konchesky dropping to 2.5 star ability now, but apart from his physicality, he's still pretty good, so I'm hoping he'll be able to see the season out. We've got Hale Brown in goal as always, Ramsey and Konchesky the fullbacks, Parker and Harris joining at centre half, and then Gallagher joined by Lewis today in central midfield, Jason Pryor joined by Fabio Lopez up front, and Sean Dyche by the sounds of it in the dugout. I'm channeling my inner Ginger Mourinho with this voice, so hopefully you'll appreciate that. And the other good news we've got to report today is in terms of contracts as well. Most of the players in the lineup today have joined on for another year, most notably Jason Pryor, Jake Gallagher, 2 of the key players. Unfortunately Buchanan has rejected his deal, but Parker the centre half, Tom Richards the left winger, a few of the key players that are signed up for next year. We've got the backup holding midfielder Dan Gallagher as well, so it gives us an option to play different tactics. And it just means that we've got a core group for next season that will hopefully compete towards the top of the league. I didn't want to do too many in case we did stay in the playoffs and get promoted, though of course that's very unlikely this year, though it is a club that have gone up 13 times in 20 years, so promotion's something they're very good at. They're certainly used to big games and having to perform on the top stage and playing in those promotion playoffs, something they've done at many different levels. But let's go and get into this game against Slough Town, of course a club that I've got fond memories of, but those are back in the days of FM19, and today we're focused on Dorking Wanderers. So it's a 4-4-2 for Slough, and I'm just trying to see if there's any players I recognise. Of course we took over them in season 2 in the head coach last year, which would have been the 1920 season, but equally I don't think I recognise any of them from that save, only a couple from other stories. So they've got Ryan Bird up front, who's of course the joint top scorer in the league with Pryor and one other. He was a player for us in FM18, again up front for Dover Athletic. He joined Jonah Ayunga in that series. The 2 were deadly up front together. We've got Sam Togwell in central midfield, an experienced player who's played throughout the Football League. He's someone I just recognise from the footballing world as a result. And an interesting story at left back, Scott Armsworth is a young defender. He's a player who we've been scouting all season, and as you can see above, his scout summary was was only average, but then randomly Ipswich came in to try and sign him in January, so we went in and put a contract bid in for him as well. We thought he must be something special, so we went to try and sign him, but unfortunately he chose to stay at Slough. So it's a 4-4-2 against an attacking 4-4-2, and it could be a very interesting game as a result. Hopefully we won't have yet another 0-0. Let's get into the first half and see if the lads can pick up where they left off. 10 minutes gone and no shots at either end. Not looking good for entertainment so far. The voice is holding up for the moment though, and Richards wins it high up the pitch. Here's Lopez, the new signing. He finds Pryor, who holds it up as the target man. Back to Jake Gallagher. Into Richards again. All three of them have signed new deals, and Pryor hits the post. He almost celebrated in style, but we've got another free kick on the right. Konchesky into the back stick. Headed back in by Pryor. What a fantastic finish. Ed Harris was at the back stick, the centre half. Just nodded it back across goal. A brilliant set piece routine, and we lead against Slough Town at home. It's Ward on the halfway line for Slough with a free kick. Up to Armsworth and now Togwell. Two of the men we mentioned pre-match of course, and they've switched it out to the right to DYCHE. Up to the byline, Richards wins it back. Doesn't clear it well enough though Harris does well to head it away in the box. Brilliant clearance from him. It's in again and Parker clears this time. Jake Gallagher goes long over the top, and here goes Fabio Lopez down the left, chasing it into the channel. Crosses for Pryor, who scores, but the flag was up. I hadn't quite noticed, and it remains 1-0 after a quarter of an hour. There was definitely a big hint of Sean Dyche in that commentary, so apologies for the slightly croaky tone. But it doesn't do anything to change the result. We lead after a brilliant first half an hour. It's Allen with a corner for Slough. To the back post to Togwell. They've actually had more chances, and there's the goal. Hale Brown can't stop it at his near post. A thunderous effort, as is so often the case at the moment. I know it's just the beta edition of the game, but as you've noticed, the one-on-ones are a problem, and long shots are flying in from everywhere, so I'm sure that'll be fixed for the full release. It's Lynch in midfield to Togwell. We tried to go to positive mentality. I just want to get a foothold in the game, but now we're behind. Oh, it was an awful bit of defending. A brilliant cross from Pemberton on the right, but the defenders were caught on their heels, and the runner managed to get there at the back stick, and this game's been deservedly turned around. So it's a bit of a nightmare at home to Slough at the moment, though Richards is trying to change that. Through ball to Pryor. Can he get a shot away? Into Lewis. There we go. Stuart Lewis with a goal. We're back on level terms. His first for the club, and it looks like it's going to be all square at half time. There it is then, 2-2. We've only had the 2 shots on target as a side. It's a disappointing performance, and we'll tell the lads that, and they're all motivated and fired up from it. I really don't know if the voice is going to last 45 more minutes, so you might have some action in silence in a moment. Some of you might prefer that, to be fair, but equally we'll try and get through it. It's Love it out to the wide area, but Briggs manages to win the header. Pryor holding it up. He's been brilliant in that target man position, and there's the midfield run from Jake Gallagher, but his shot from the edge is just over the bar, and it remains 2-2 here in a fascinating game. Plenty of draws on camera, though this one's certainly been one of the most exciting, as Gallagher plays it to Konchesky on the left. We're trying to come forward again. Of course, that's Paul Konchesky we were trying to say, but his switched ball is awful, and now Bird's in at the other end, and he scores a one-on-one. Unbelievable stuff that. Firstly, that a one-on-one's gone in, and Konchesky has cost us the game. Maybe we do need to find a left-back desperately. We've only got about 2 weeks left of the window to do so. 25 minutes remaining on the clock, and it looks like we're going down to a rare defeat. So a quarter of the game to go, and we're going to go and make a couple of changes. Tom Richards dropping to left back again. Konchesky off, he's had a shocking game. Buchanan will come on the left wing. Essentially gives us 3 strikers there, something we certainly can't complain about. And then we're going to bring on Luke Rawson on the right as well. Let's just go for it with an attacking 4. They're all going to go to wingers on attack and give us as much support as possible. We'll give it 5 more minutes before making our last sub, and then we'll go even more attacking if we need to. It's Love it with a goal kick for Slough. Long ball forward towards Hale DYCHE. One back and Pryor brings it down for Lewis. He's managed to give him the ball away in the middle too. It's contagious, this awful passing range, although Tom Richards gets it away for us, and Buchanan picks it up the sub on the left. Not often he hasn't played up front this year. Richards over the top to put Lopez in. Can he finish a one-on-one? He can't. Love it makes the save, and it's behind for a Dorking corner. It's going to be taken by Richards, the left back. Of course, usually a winger for us. Togwell heads away away, it wasn't a great corner, though Gallagher recycles possession. Out to Rawson on the right. Can he find the delivery? Gotta be a foul from Armsworth there. It's going to be a free kick in a dangerous position, but we're not going to get to see the end of the highlight. Ramsey's having a poor game at right back, so Conor Langan's going to come on for him, and we're just going to put both fullbacks to attacking duties, try and get forward as much as possible. So we'll get back into it with 15 minutes remaining and see if we can get back on level terms somehow. We're going to go all out attack, tell the lads to push forward. We've just got to find an equaliser. Jake Gallagher from the edge with a bit of space, but he's managed to put it wide of the post. Really was a quite poor finish in the end, and we tend to go, it remains 3-2 to Slough. It's Lopez on the left-hand side for us. Gets it from Gallagher's throw-in. Good ball into Lewis, who tries to spread the play. Langan goes long over the top. Here's Lopez running to the side. He's got two supporting him in the middle. Goes back to Langan. Oh, the right back with a thunderous volley. But it's over the bar and it remains 2-3, despite us having more clear-cut chances. That's the problem in this game at the moment, I think. You create these great chances, but you can't do anything with them. Most of them just won't be scored, and that is a bit of a problem to be fixed. It's Jake Gallagher from a poor pass at the back. Parker goes long to Buchanan. He's in one-on-one. He's got to score. But again, the one-on-one clear-cut chances are missed. It's so frustrating creating openings and not being able to take them. There's almost the air of resignation when you go in, wanting them to shoot from further out, because you know once they're in the box, it's so rare they'll score, and that makes it very difficult to take. So it is a defeat, the first one in a couple of months for the side, but it was a pretty decent performance. In the end, it was an even game that could have gone either way, but Slough managed to come out on top. We're going to tell the lads it was disappointing, though the one positive is Stuart Lewis got man of the match. One of the new signings really standing out, though Fabio Lewis wasn't great up front. We stay in the playoffs, but only on goal difference, and we've got that hard spell of games coming up again. The ones we had in the first half of the year where we went on that 6-week dodgy run, and we've got all of those fixtures to finish the season, so it could be a very disappointing end. But of course the pre-season predictions were to finish in mid-table. It's what the board want, and we're certainly going to achieve it. We've got a 12-point gap to Billericay and haven't, and that takes us down to 15th. So we're certainly not going to finish lower than that, and barring a disaster we should be 12th or above. Of course Slough have closed the gap to us today, but aside from that it's been a pretty good run. So let's go and see what the media said about the game. We're made to rue missed chances. Of course we had 3 clear-cut ones and didn't manage to take any of them, but that's a problem that should be resolved by the full release, and if we do keep creating those chances, eventually we should score a few more of them. We're going to go and praise Stuart Lewis for his performance. He was really good for us today. He's not happy with the praise and has a bit of a tantrum, so we're not going to bother talking to him again. So we're going to skip through to next week just in case we get our youth intake, and if not, we'll look at when we'll next be back for that end of season decider. Well, we've reached the Concord Rangers match the following weekend, and unfortunately we're yet to have our youth intake. We will go and have a quick look at the preview screen to see if anything's changed, but it does look like it'll be the next episode. It says every year in April. So hopefully it'll be there and ready for the next episode, which will be the final game of the league season. Of course, it's away to Hemel Hempstead, a side we've got a bit of previous with on the channel. We started our FM19 head coach series with them, the first club that'll give us a job, and of course you can catch up on the eye above to see how we got on in that series, but needless to say it didn't go too smoothly. So we'll be back for that one after the next 6 games, and of course we could still be in playoff contention. We may well have assured our place in the top 7 by then. We may well be out of contention completely, although it could be a crucial final day decider to help decide a playoff place. Hemel Hempstead in 10th at the moment, and they sit just 2 points behind us. So potentially one of the biggest episodes of the series, a chance to get in the top 7 on the final day, against a club that we've got a bit of a rivalry with on the channel, and of course we've got our first ever youth intake at Dorking. So it's going to be a cracking episode, and I do hope you'll come and join me for it. That'll be on Sunday at 4:30. But if you did enjoy this episode and that end-to-end game against Slough, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the signings, and how on earth I can get a left back. I keep trying to ask our director of football for loan targets. None of them are good enough to replace Konchesky. It does seem a problem position for us, and I can't trust Konchesky for the season. Do I even think about playing Richards left back and pushing Buchanan onto the left wing? Gives us a bit more of an attacking threat, but wastes a lot of Richards' attacking talent. Of course, we will talk a bit more in depth about our transfer policy when we do our end of season review episode, and we'll also talk about our youth intake in detail after generally reviewing it in Sunday's video. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content, with 5 episodes a week from this long-term story with Dorking, and then 2 episodes a week from our beta save, followed by plenty more Football Manager series. Most of them won't have a voice as croaky as this. I do apologise for the tone of it today, but I'm enjoying the game so much I just had to record the episode and carry on, as I'm really getting into this series with Dorking. But a massive thanks for watching this one and putting up with the voice. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for the most crucial game of the series so far, as we try to beat our old rivals Hemel Hempstead and secure a place in the playoffs.